Hello, Internet, and welcome to another episode of the Queer Chronicles of the Strixhaven Quartet here on Game Nights. I am your host and your Dungeon Master, Savvy, and we're here to play Dungeons and Dragons. Very excited to be back this week. Before we get started, I don't really have any super exciting announcements, but we're back in full swing after several weeks of traveling and illness and all kinds of stuff going on. But we're back and we stream on this channel every day except for Wednesday. So 6 days a week we've got content here. Our next live stream after this is going to be tomorrow. I believe it's Escape Velocity this week. Where everybody over there is playing Stars Without Number. They're in space. There's like a space mermaid and a bunny man and all kinds of stuff going on over there. It's great. You should go hang out with them. That's tomorrow night at 8 Eastern. And then after that, we have got Monster of the Week now on Thursdays, Good Society on Fridays, Parslings on Saturdays, and Blades in the Dark on Sundays. So, if you are live with us on Twitch, our schedule is down on our page right below our faces. If you're with us in the future, either on VOD or on YouTube, hi! You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, where we post VODs of all of our shows, including our video game streams and one-shots and stuff. You can also find our schedule pinned to our Twitter and in our Discord, in our shows channel. So, coming out with us there. That's the only thing interesting I have to say, probably today.
For the whole night.
For the whole night.
A very boring game.
Yeah. I mean, most of the time you guys handle the interesting stuff, and I just make a monster appear at the end to scare you. And it's worked every time so far. I'm going to let my friends here introduce themselves, tell you who they are, where you can find them on the internet, and who they are playing today, starting with Rob.
Hey, that's me. I am Rob, or bonus stage Rob, or bonus_stage_Rob. You can find me in various locations all over the interwebs at any number of those handles. Currently, the only thing outside of this show I have coming up, outside of just a bunch of stuff I'm working on when I'm not planning a wedding, is if you liked or are interested in the Radiant Citadel Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel, the new super duper sweet multicultural addition to Dungeons and or Dorgans. We are the group that I played with on Lore Everlasting. We are recording another session, TBD when that's released, but super excited to partner again with Wizard of the Coast on that. And yeah, so keep an eye on the Twitter land for information about that. But tonight in this wonderful Strixhaven game, I am playing Willoughby Wonderfoot, first year, without a beard.
For now. Thank you, Rob. Next up is Rachel.
Hi, that's me. I'm Rachel Elizabeth. You can find me here on Twitch at Rachel Elizabeth, where I've been streaming recently. But you can find me on Twitter and Instagram, where I'm, working on getting better at it, at Rachel Elizabeth with a D in the middle instead of an S. I occasionally tweet things. I'm trying. I'm just really easily distracted. Okay. I'm like a shiny object, forget about my phone and wander off kind of a person. And tonight I am playing, the same person, a shiny object and wander away. Sereia Vale, the Water Genasi Druid.
Thank you, Rachel. And last but certainly not least is Val.
Speaking of shiny objects, hi everyone, I'm Val. You can find me at the Kraken's Crown on Twitter and Twitch. I play here Thursdays through Mondays. I run a game on Saturdays called Ward 47. It was the aforementioned Parslings game. It's been a lot of fun. Come join us on Saturdays for that. I also co-facilitate a game on Fridays called Neon Gods. We're playing Good Society. I think that's. I'm also over on LB Hack on this channel, along with most of the rest of the crew here on Sundays doing D&D. So, but tonight I will be playing Law, who is a tiefling artificer of the armor making variety.
Indeed, they are. Well, are you all ready to get started? I didn't really do much of a recap because last time was pretty straightforward. You fought a giant pest amalgamation successfully. No one died and had to be brought back by Sereia, who has at least 2 cults on campus now, I'm pretty sure. You won that fight at the Rose stage. The pests unharmed once they were unamalgamated. Is that a word? Is now.
It is
It
now.
is now.
Once they were returned to their little forms, you found something strange in their vomit. Because there's little guys who were eating a lot and then got in too much trouble and threw up all over the stage. Like a bunch of weird spiky cats. And it was pieces of chitin that you had seen before that you are pretty positive at this point are from mage hunters. After that, you had a talk because some of your friends on campus, you guys got a talking to, is really what it was, by some of your classmates and friends on campus who were worried about you, bordering on suspicious because of everything you seemed to find yourselves in. You were able to convince them to trust you and decided that you trusted them enough to tell them what had been going on over the last couple of months, because it was pretty wild. And they offered to help. So after your exam on OTUGs, which you all passed, congratulations, and gained some more student dice. After the exam, Law was approached by Thay, trying to be nice, who invited them to a lecture by one of her professors on scrivening and symbology, magical symbols. You're looking at me like you have no memory of this.
No, I definitely remember this. Yep.
Okay, good. Her Professor Scrimmett, one of the Quandrix professors, is giving a talk with some practical work involved, and she invited you, and then said the rest of you are welcome to come as well. She doesn't care. And then you went to the library and did a lot of research, and I hope you guys wrote down what I told you found, or at least have it in your brains. Because I
You're
really
looking at
didn't.
dirt. I remember that.
Yeah, Law, you looked at the atlases and the maps and found a section south of Strixhaven called the Badlands. Sereia went through the journal and Willoughby some history books and things like that. So, what would you like to do? We'll pick up right where we left off in the biblioplex. You guys had talked your way into the advanced student stacks on the 2nd floor, convincing one of the librarians to let all of you, all like 7 of you, 6 or 7 of you in. So we'll pick up there if there's anything else you all would like to do or look for. There's also the rest of the library.
So we got everything that we were looking at. We finished all of our research last time, because
As far as I
can't
remember.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Done in the library? Okay. As you're leaving, one of you trips
Oh my
over
God.
something.
We are really clumsy.
Constantly tripping over things.
And people
Thank
just
you.
leave things lying around.
Thank you for the loot drop. Let's go ahead and do this now. Somebody roll me a d10.
Let's see. Get dice out. Oh my God, dice. Okay, D10.
A d10.
That's a 6.
1, 2. Okay, somebody roll me a d100.
78.
What is this? I don't even know what this is. And we're about to find out together. Okay. Fuck. Sereia. Sure, because you rolled the dice. Your foot knocks into something small, and you look down and reach down to pick it up. It is a small statuette of a raven cast in silver.
Does this look familiar at all?
I don't think so. But boy, does it seem magical.
Look what I found. This is pretty.
Is it like a paperweight or something?
Maybe it's for an altar. Does this look like a god to anybody? I don't know much about this. Plane.
Because it's a bird, looks to Willoughby.
Willoughby is like genuinely trying to think about if he's seen anything like this in like folk tales.
Okay, yeah, just Willoughby roll me a history check.
Sure. It's a 12.
Nope, looks pretty.
I don't know. It looks pretty though. I can't really place if it's any god in particular or heroic figure. Doesn't remind me of any of my graphic scrolls.
Do you want me to see what it does, Sereia? If it's magical or something?
Sure. Willoughby, we could also ask your friend Tom. Right, Tom?
Oh yeah, Tom might know.
Well, Tom probably knows. It would save. He'd probably know before I did.
I
think God has left us.
God had a cat trapped in him
Oh no.
that they didn't know was in here.
I remember that Bible story.
Do you want to
my favorite
identify
one.
it?
When you said there was no cat beside you, but there were 2 sets of footprints and one of them had 4 paws. I gotta find Tom.
Go to find Tom. Okay. You take the statue with you, and you head out back down to the first floor, and you see the Clockwork Archivist, Tom, rolling around with a big stack of books, just putting them away on the high shelves.
Tom, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we found this cool statue. Does this look familiar?
Oh, hello, Willoughby.
Hello.
Let me take a look. He sort of reaches out a clockwork hand,
Sereia hands it to him.
holds
or
it
whoever
up,
has it.
and you see sort of in his smooth face a little bit of, yep, that's exactly what it looks like.
That's the statue.
It's a strong doge. And you see a little bit of magical light appear kind of on it's like a visor, kind of. And you hear some of the clockwork kind of in his head turning, and the light kind of covers the statuette for a moment, and then he hands it back to you and says, "That is quite the find."
Sereia tripped over it.
Oh dear. Be careful.
That's okay. We find a lot of cool stuff that way.
Oh, good. Well, I suppose if you found this, it's yours. This is a figurine of wondrous power. And that's not just a descriptor, that's what it's called in the book.
Whoa.
He can tell you what it does in fantasy language. A figurine of wondrous power, this one is a silver raven. It is a statuette of a beast small enough to fit in your pocket. If you use an action to speak its command word and throw the figurine to a point on the ground within 60 feet, that's right, it becomes living. It's just another pet.
More pets, more
We
pets.
are gonna have an army.
It is friendly to you and your companions. It understands your languages and obeys your spoken commands. If you issue no commands, it defends itself but takes no further action. Each creature, there's a bunch of different ones. Each creature has its own duration. Let me find it. It reverts back to a figurine if it drops to 0 hit points or if you speak the command word again while touching it. This is a silver raven. It can become a raven for up to 12 hours. Once it's been used, it cannot be used again until 2 days have passed. And while in raven form, the figurine allows you to cast the animal messenger spell on it at will. I put all that in the Discord. That's what that does. And Tom
So what
explains
you're
it.
saying is, I have a bird now in this game too.
Yes. Yes. You do.
Okay.
Now
All
everyone
right.
has a pet. Willoughby has a bag of them.
And the person who keeps bringing people back to life is a raven. This is
So.
getting darker and darker for my character. I love it.
So yes, there is a living creature in there. Sort of.
I hope they like us.
I
The
think
magic
we'll be
demands
fast
it of them.
friends.
Oh,
And friendship.
The magic of friendship, yes.
Indeed. Can I help you with anything else?
I think that's it. Thank you.
See you later, Willoughby.
Bye.
He rolls away.
Tom's great.
So, okay. Well, we learned information and we got a new pet bird. What should we do now? Do we go look for this Badlands place or? Oh no, we have class. Probably need to wait till the weekend.
Yeah. On the one hand, we can't shirk our educational duties. However, this might warrant a sick day or two if the entire campus,
If the campus
is at
is going
stake.
to be, yes,
Yeah.
we're all going to die otherwise. Well, Thea invited me and all of us to a magical runes lecture that is this afternoon, this evening, tomorrow.
It
The
can be
day
this
after
It's this
tomorrow?
afternoon.
Okay, this afternoon.
She gave you the little flyer about it. A little note about it, so you have it written down.
You know, with all the magical stuff we're dealing with, that might be helpful if we want to go to that. At least a couple of us. Then I guess do we get supplies and then go on an expedition to the bad place? Yes, no, maybe.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine by me, I think. We should probably let our friends know, though, just so that we don't get a stern talking to again.
Yeah, I feel like if we disappeared to the Badlands and didn't tell them that we were going on some sort of adventure, some of them might want to come with us, but some of them also might want to cover for us.
That too. It would be good to have backup if it's just going to be the three of us.
Yeah.
We could bring 5
Huh?
of them.
Yes, let's bring all of our
Everybody.
friends, every friend that we have.
Wait, it can be a
What-
class field trip.
Yes, let's tell Professor
God.
Denson that we want to go out to the Badlands for a field trip, and the whole class can come with us.
We could get all of our parents to sign petitions.
Or permission slips, whatever it is.
Permission slip.
Petitions,
When
petitions
was
to
the
shut
last
down
time-
the school.
Permission
after-
petitions.
To be fair, when was the last time you had a parent send a permission slip for you? You know, it's been a while. We're all down.
I'm 30.
I've signed more petitions than permissions.
I am petition. No. All right. So when is that lecture, La?
This afternoon.
Okay.
Evening.
So we'll go to that and then tell our friends about our plan and see what they want to do.
All right.
Because I don't want to get yelled at again. That was a lot of confrontation
Yes.
and a lot of emotions. I'm used to just doing what I want.
Apparently,
that's
there
what
are people
happens
paying
when-
attention to us.
Yeah, when you have folks that love you, that's what happens.
I'm used to being unattended.
Okay. So you're gonna go to this lecture. And then you're gonna talk to your friends about an expedition. Okay. Is there anything you guys want to do before the talk?
Lunch.
Yes.
Lunch is good. Okay.
I feel like I'm missing something, but I have no idea what that could be.
I do too. I don't know what's happening in my brain, but I feel like we've skipped something important. I don't know what it is. My notes.
DM,
aren't telling me
can I
otherwise.
roll to
Who
find out
did
if we're
we
missing anything?
leave somewhere?
Sure. Roll to remember if you left the stove on.
That's a 13. Do I add anything? I'll add my remembering stat. It's a -5, so that's an 8.
Yeah, add your wisdom.
That's a -1, so a 12.
That seemed right. No.
Okay.
I give you guys one day
very
without being
confident.
attacked, and you all don't trust me or have any idea what's going on.
Well, we do. Okay, I did remember. I was trying to remember
For
if
the
there
other
was
shoe to
something.
drop.
Yeah, well, I think there's always been something that's been like about to happen that we've been like,
Oh.
but we do have the competition. I forgot.
Yes.
The
about,
Battle of
right?
Strixhaven is coming up very soon.
How soon?
Oh my god, yes, we haven't done that.
Oh boy, like right after Giselle gets back, so you have a full team.
For,
Okay.
For some
So-
reason,
So next week.
I replaced that with really. Ooh. I replaced that with Mage Tower.
Oh yeah,
We're
yeah,
like-
yeah.
We went onto the field, practiced this minigame, got attacked by a slod, and then played Mage Tower. And I was like, oh yeah, that was the Battle of Strixhaven. Duh.
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say at the beginning. Sid will be back with us next week. So we're gonna have to go get Giselle, and then the Battle of Strixhaven will commence. So yeah, you guys go to get lunch.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You go to
Sereia
get
would
lunch.
like a vegetarian sandwich.
They can
I
do
want
it.
whatever that really good sandwich we had that
The one with
First time we
the
were here
hot
once.
peppers.
The hot peppers.
Yeah.
It's like dragon pepper something or other.
Yeah, I ate that the first
I
time,
think
and
I
it's
wrote it
all
down.
Law's eaten since,
Got it
because that's
somewhere.
all I want to eat since.
Where's the tea?
Soraya would like a sandwich with honey and goat cheese and
Dragon breath peppers and salami on a bagel.
apple.
Oh god, that sounds so
Is what
good.
it was. They also offer rainbow carrots and watercress.
Oh.
Well, you guys probably don't want to eat frog legs at this point, huh?
Nope, we're
No,
pretty
that's
much
like my
attached to all
family.
frogs.
Crunchy frog legs on toast.
Like, no.
Toasted cockatrice gizzards on rye, open-faced radish chips deep fried with Dijon. That's what they serve in the Biblioplex.
I feel like I know
does
a
that all sound so
character that might need to
good?
take over the kitchen.
Oh my god.
We know them. I have an idea.
We know them so well.
Okay, so you guys go to have lunch, and a few minutes in, your lunch is interrupted by Grayson. Grayson is the future entrepreneurs of Strixhaven,
Right.
and he also writes for the newspaper. And he makes his way over, he's kind of shy, kind of looks towards you guys, looks a little bit awkward. Do you mind if I talk to you guys for a minute?
Not at all.
Lovely to see you, Grayson. Please join us.
Hey. He sits down, whatever coffee that he's got. So, I'm in a bit of a pickle, and I was hoping you guys could help.
I like pickles.
I like helping.
Well,
I like both.
I guess I've come to the right place. So, I've overextended myself a little bit, and I'm actually looking for some planning help. So after the Battle of Strixhaven, we've got the dance that's supposed to be happening, and I signed up to be on the planning committee. And then there's been a lot of stuff going on, I guess, like behind the scenes and with the faculty and everything. And so what they want to do is take the masquerade that usually happens next semester and have it now. And I don't really know how to plan a masquerade. And I don't really know who else to ask for help.
You've come to the right place. I do know how to plan a party.
Great.
And we're good at helping. The people
Yeah.
that know how to do things.
Great. Okay. Yeah, so me and Mina and a couple of other people had started some work, but half the group kind of bailed, and so it's really just the two of us. And I don't really know where to start, and Mina's a year ahead of us and is really busy. Like, all the time. So, we have the theme. Well, the Dean picks the theme, but...
What is
Soraya
the
whips out a notebook.
It's the history of Strixhaven. So, leading up to the event, like, there's the battle, obviously, and then there's like a few other kind of events leading up. We do a... Oh, Mina loves these things. I guess it's kind of like a fashion show. Or anyway, we encourage people to design their own outfits and costumes and things like that. And then, there'll be a whole masquerade. But I know a little bit about Strixhaven. Me and my parents went here, but I don't know anything going back past like 20 or 30 years. And I also don't really know how to plan a ball.
That part's easy.
Great.
Sure. I don't see a reason why we can't help you.
Nope.
Yeah, I know a lot about the history of Strixhaven, so that part's easy.
That's good.
Do you have a color theme yet?
No.
Okay. Food?
No.
Lighting?
No.
Okay. Who's on this committee? Or are we just going to take care of all of it? Or do I need to talk to Mina too?
I mean, you can talk to me.
Sereia seems more focused than like anybody has ever seen her.
I mean, you can talk to Mina too if you want. I mean, I know she's willing to help, but I mean, the two of us can't really carry the whole thing, and it's kind of crazy that we're responsible for the whole thing. But
And it's just the masquerade ball you need help with? The fashion show is taken care of as well?
yeah, that's taken care of. Some of the Silver Quill students are helping with that. We'll be announcing that here soon, but yeah. I really appreciate it, you guys.
Last question. Do you know anybody who can conjure lots and lots of velvet fabric? Or where I can get it?
Well, conjure it, not so much, but I mean, if anybody could do something like that, it's either somebody at Silver Quill or somebody at Prismari.
Okay. She's just like writing down names of the students and she just sees her very like focused.
It seems like Sereia... We're just going to do what Sereia tells us to do, because it seems like Sereia already has a plan.
Okay. That would be great, actually, because I'm in way over my head, and honestly, I expected this conversation to go a bit differently, so this is great.
Do we get
I
any
planned
course
lots of
credit,
parties.
or is there anything for doing this, or for the maybe additional funding for the entrepreneurs for our own stuff?
Well, it's something that the entrepreneurs usually do for an extra credit, so yeah, I guess that
Okay.
extends to you.
Who do we talk to about budget?
I guess Professor Sharpbeak.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll finish our lunch and then I will go start working on the stuff. How many days until the event?
2 weeks.
That's fine.
That's very soon. Are you sure that's enough time?
Plenty. I've done it in less.
Willoughby
All right.
has started taking notes of what Sereia is asking. Willoughby's learning
I love
something,
him.
and knowledge is power.
I just love him so much.
He's taking notes on her notes.
He's taking notes on your note taking. Just
Oh my goodness. Everything
Boy.
Willoughby does makes me want to cry.
So precious. So perfect.
So
he's a good noodle.
yeah, honestly, I kind of expected some pushback. So
Do you want us to push back? We can push back.
no,
I'm
I'm
very
really
good at arguing.
I'm really not good with confrontation in general.
Oh, one more question. Do you prefer silver or gold? Or rose gold?
Me?
Or mixed metals? Yes.
Uh,
Well, it's still like your event, so I want to,
I
get some of your preferences in there.
I prefer silver.
Okay.
Great. So I guess I'll leave this with you, and Mina and me will sort of be on standby.
We've got it under control.
I really appreciate it, you guys. If there's anything that I can do to pay you back, really, I mean it.
Keep
If you're
doing what
lucky
you're doing.
Giselle isn't here, she would definitely take you up on that.
Just pay it forward and help somebody else.
That I can do. Okay. Great. Well, I guess I'll, I mean, you guys know how to get a hold of me, so I'll see you around. He looks
Thanks, Grayson.
Sereia's
uplifted.
fiercely like writing.
Right. I'll see you later. Takes his coffee,
Bye.
walks away, looking proud of himself.
I love him.
Another good deed planning to be done.
I wish I could talk to Giselle about this.
Well, maybe she'll be back soon.
I hope so. I miss her.
Me too.
Me three.
You guys. She just keeps writing sticky notes. She looks up every now and then to like ask a question and then just like goes back to writing. She's like sketching things out, like
Okay.
So, are you good? What do you need us to help you with, Sereia? Because it seems like you have a plan.
Well, so far my plan is draped velvet, lots of silver and gunmetal and crystal. And then I'm trying to decide if we should do jewel tones or just focus on like a deep emerald green. As like a nice pop of color somewhere.
I heard
And, like,
gun
lots of
and metal.
candlelight.
I can help with that part.
I figured. I'm thinking some really like organic looking silver and like gunmetal sculptures around that maybe emanate light from crystal in some way, shape, or form to add ambiance throughout the room. But like not too much light because it is a ball.
You'll have to say that again for me later, but it sounds like something I can do.
I'll draw you some pictures.
Perfect.
Willoughby, you're good with colors. What do you think? Should we focus on like one color or do lots of different jewel tones for pops of color?
Oh, I mean, there's so many colors and I like all of them. The more the better.
Okay, lots of jewel tones. Got it.
Rob's like,
Willoughby,
I'm already
like-
having to plan a wedding. Do I have to do this?
Yeah, I'm like triggered right now. Like,
I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. That's what I have a florist for.
Sereia's just sketching as we finish lunch before we go to our thing.
Okay. So you finish lunch, hang out, do some sketches, talk about the masquerade, and then you guys are gonna go to this lecture. All right.
Yes.
Alrighty. So you head over. Well, no, it's not that far because the little lecture amphitheater is in the biblioplex. So you guys gonna walk over there. And you see a few students have already gathered. It's not super full, but it's, about standard class size. You'll see several familiar faces. Thay is there. Who else would be there? Let's see. Thay's definitely there. Not you. Grayson is actually there. A few people you recognize.
Like, hi, Grayson. We could have walked there together. Sorry.
Oh, I didn't know you were coming.
I didn't either. They invited us.
Oh, well, that's nice. I didn't think she invited anyone to do anything.
The first time for everything.
He goes to
Guess
sit
I'll
down.
go
He doesn't
fuck
want to
it.
say anything else mean. Okay. So you all find a seat, and the professor makes his way in shortly after. Excuse me. I haven't talked this much all day. This is Professor. Oh, what's his name? I got him in here. This is Professor Scrimmet. He is a small-ish kind of dwarven man. He's definitely older. His beard and hair are sort of graying. You can see a little bit of like dark brown, sort of peppered throughout. He's one of the Quandrix professors. Law, you've probably seen him around. So he makes his way to the front of the room and gives a riveting lecture on scrivening and symbology. And we are going to treat this like a test.
Oh no. Surprise test.
Pop quiz. So,
Those are the worst kinds.
instead of a study phase, you are going to give me one ability check of your choice for taking notes, remembering what was said, following instructions at the beginning of this talk before the practical section. So this is a lecture on scrivening and symbology. It's about glyphs, it's about symbols, particularly the magical spell symbol, which none of you are even close to being able to cast. But it's about things like that, particularly identifying suitable surfaces to put symbols on, their different uses, and things like that. How do you guys function during a lecture?
All depends on the
Furious
subject matter.
note-taking.
I think for Law, considering the nature of this being a Quandrix course and stuff, I don't think really takes notes, but is like insanely hyperfixated on what is going on.
Okay.
So, and just their natural understanding of magic and stuff probably helping them for a lot of it.
Okay. So what ability do you want to roll?
Be Arcana?
Sure. Go ahead and roll.
16.
Okay. Sereia and or Willoughby.
I think Willoughby has a backup notebook just in case he finds himself in a situation where he needs to take notes.
Okay.
I would like to, I think because the nature of this is like runes and symbols and whatnot. I would actually like to, if you'll allow it, use my calligrapher's supplies because I am proficient in that, and I think he is doing his best to recreate a lot of these runes that he's seeing, mayhaps.
Sure. I think that's great.
You'll allow for that stretch.
Yeah, go for it. I like it.
That is 18.
Okay. Sereia.
I'm not gonna lie, Soraya's probably a little distracted now that she's got to plan a party. So I think I'm just gonna risk like she's trying to pay attention, but she's also got other things going on in her head. So like character wise, I'm not gonna try to make it fancy. I'm just gonna be like, she's, trying to pay attention. I think it's probably more of a perception thing than anything. Like she's, trying to pay attention, but she's also got other stuff going on in her head. So
Sure.
her notes also have sketches of chandeliers and and food ideas. So I think we'll just go
the
with
first time partying has ever ruin studying.
Oh no.
So it's a 13.
Okay. All right. So after this section, Professor Scrimmett talks for a while. You all have your different sort of ways of engaging with this material, and then he starts calling people up to the front of the room. The second half of this is identifying and practicing physical and mental techniques for avoiding and resisting the effects of symbols once they have been triggered. So, I am also going to let you all decide which check you can do for this one. So this is not only physically sort of placing symbols and runes and things, but if you run into them and are unfortunate enough to trigger them, what do you do? This can be physical or mental. It's up to you guys. It can be as simple as jumping out of the way. It can be much more complex.
Willoughby spends, as soon as he realizes that people are getting called up, he spends the entire time trying to get noticed and get called up.
Okay. Yeah, I think he gets called up pretty quickly.
Yeah, he's scanning the room, and Willoughby's like leaning, like kind of trying to always be at his vision.
Oh, yes, my young Owlin friend here. What's your name?
Willoughby Wanderfoot, first year.
Mr. Wanderfoot, first year. Wonderful. Please, join me at the front. All right.
Trots down.
So he sets up a sort of a test and puts down, it's nothing that's going to kill you, but a symbol of some kind. He says, now when you're ready, or maybe when you're not, I'm going to trigger the symbol, and you must resist or avoid its effects.
I think Willoughby, spurred on by his newfound constitution, tries to tough it out.
Okay. So I guess that would be like a Constitution saving throw?
I am a rock.
The glyph explodes in a flash of light. You roll me a Constitution saving throw.
11.
Okay. So Willoughby, you are blasted back by this sort of flash of light. It's really like a very strong like gust of wind that kind of knocks you and you go tumbling back a little bit. And he says, "Good effort, Mr. Wanderfoot. Very good for a first try."
Whoa, that's a really strong glyph.
Well done. Who's next?
I'll try.
All right. What's your name?
I'm Sereia.
Sereia. All right. Join me at the front now. He's
Wander her way up there.
He starts drawing another glyph on the surface. Now, are you ready?
Yes.
As you say yes, he triggers another glyph. What would you like to do?
I think the normal reaction would be, I think she's going to dodge out of the way as much as she can.
Okay, that sounds like a dexterity saving throw.
You know it does. But it's a 21.
Okay. Well done. So the glyph triggers, and this one, instead of a gust of wind, you see several like stones, sort of remove themselves, kind of crack out of the stone surface that he's drawing these on, and just kind of fling themselves at you. You dodge out of the way, rolling to the side gracefully, and he says, "Oh yes, wonderful, well done, an excellent effort." All
Thank
right.
you. And she'll curtsy and leave the stage.
Who's next?
I'll go.
Right, what is your name?
Law.
Law. All right. Join me at the front.
All right. Law has their bag and just like a handful of gadgets and like basically anything that could potentially help here, and is essentially going to use their knowledge of the arcane and rune crafting to like identify what the rune is and the effect it's going to have, and have the appropriate like counter for it.
Okay. Let's do pause for dramatic effect, and by dramatic effect I mean roll 20 at loading. Let's do an intelligence saving throw. As
Okay.
Professor Scrimmett sort of watches you rummage through your bag, pulling out a few things. Oh, artificing, I see. Interesting.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Let's see what those machines can do. And he starts to sound more and more like a crazy old wizard who lives in a tower.
She's not rolling. Still not rolling well. But that's a 16.
Okay. You have a high intelligence save, right?
I have a +8.
Well, there you go. Okay, so yeah, I don't know what kind of gadgets you have and what they do, so it's hard for me to narrate what your
I
reaction
mean,
is.
it's yeah.
But I'll say you get a glyph. Here, you can tell me. He triggers a glyph in front of you, and while it glows this sort of bright green color,
Uh-huh.
and then it fades, and nothing happens physically, or you don't see anything happen physically at first, but then you feel this sort of like wave wash over you, like something is trying to sort of press into the front of your skull, like it's trying to press into your brain.
Okay. I think Law has a like very quickly grabs a like a small device, like a couple fall to the floor, and grabs one of their devices, and it looks like a it's just like a stick, and it's got like a prong, like two metal prongs at the end, and essentially like tases themselves with it. But it like has a magical countering effect that keeps like the mental effects from getting in, like overstimulating the nervous system to counter the magical enchantment.
Okay. And after a moment, you feel it kind of fade away, and Professor Scrimmett says, "Very good, an excellent effort, wonderful. I don't remember seeing you around. Are you taking any Quandrix classes?"
Yes, I'm taking I have all my classes, Principles of Aether Engineering and Beginning Computational Magics.
Interesting. Well, you
But
might...
I'm technically in Lorehold.
An interesting choice.
Yes, it is. It's what my parents wanted me to do.
I see. Well, Law, if you find yourself wanting to branch out a bit into the magical sciences or mathematics, come by my office.
I will. Thank you, sir.
All right. Well done, everyone. A fantastic show, truly. One of the better talks I think I've given here in quite a while. Very good efforts all around. You all pass. One of you, in particular, Law, here with flying colors. Congratulations. You are the first in a while.
Law is happy for a bit, but also looks a little sad.
So, for the purposes of student die, because I'm not going to make you give a test and I'll give you any, Willoughby and Sereia, you pass law, you ace. So everybody gets a student die, that's a d4 that you can add to a constitution saving throw. And then Law, you also get one for a intelligence saving throw.
Okay. Constitution, intelligence.
Usually they're for ability checks, but I don't care.
Fuck the rules.
I make them my own. So yes, well done, everyone. Now, symbology and scrivening, while the name might not belie it, can be dangerous. So I encourage you all in any of your studies, when writing and magic are involved, be careful. I could tell you this story. Symbols can be found in both the most mundane and the strangest of places. Recently, I, for example, returned from an expedition, myself and Dean Tullis of the Lorehold students will know the Lorehold Dean, Dean Tullis. She and myself returned from an expedition from the fortress Badlands, and there are all sorts of things out there. Magical items, protected by old magics. She'll be giving a talk on our findings soon, here in the next couple of weeks, so look forward to that. But in the meantime, give your brains and your writing arms a rest, and have a good rest of your evening.
What was the name of that dean?
Dean Tullis. It's Tullus. She is the Dean of the Lorehold College. As everyone is filing out, you guys just hear from right behind you, "Way to go, nerd."
Shut up.
Teacher's pet.
You're just mad I did better than you.
No, I'm very proud of you. Truly. Going to tell your sister
didn't-
all about this while we're making out later. She starts to
That's
walk
gross.
away.
That's a gross. That's a gross thing to say to somebody.
You're a
It's
gross thing
very,
to say
very
to
gross.
somebody.
Doesn't even make any sense.
Did you get in here? The door was closed.
Intruder cat.
Say hi.
Oh my god, you're so small.
Okay. So yeah, that's how the lecture ends. What would you all like to do?
Well, so they mentioned that, and then we were going to talk to the others, and maybe we track down whoever was here and talk to them about our plan. But also, Dean Tullis, they went on an expedition to the Badlands, and they're writing up this thing. Maybe we either ask and or get a sneak peek on their findings in their expedition. It might help us.
Oh, that's a really good idea. Yeah.
Do you think we could just ask?
That's what I hope that we could just ask and they'll just let us know. But also, do you is anybody? Actually, this is probably more of an out of character question. Is anyone going to try to stop us from, like, is this like a place that we as students should not be trying to go? That we shouldn't tell the faculty that we're trying to go to?
Yeah, would we know that?
I don't think you guys would know either way.
Okay, well, maybe we talk to our classmates first and get an idea of that part first, because we don't want to go to the dean and be like, hey, we're planning on going here. Can you tell us about it? And have them be like,
We're planning a little camping trip.
The fuck you are.
yeah.
Okay. To our friends.
To our friends.
Consult with
So
the council of acquaintances.
Go to consult with the council of acquaintances. I think so. A couple of them, I think, were at the talk. Cadoris, I don't think was there. I don't think this is really his jam at all. Please don't press the streaming buttons. I know.
Oh no.
She wants some
I'm a streamer.
creative liberties that I don't think she's ready for.
Needs her own buttons.
Oh, get to your own buttons. We got an inspiration from the chat for
Oh boy.
Law. Congrats on acing your test.
Oh, thank you, chat.
That's for you. Put that inspiration in there. Congrats on acing your test. Congrats on the rest of you for passing it. Yay, pop quiz. I told you I'd make you fight something. It was your own anxiety.
Knowledge.
Knowledge, yes. Knowledge.
So yeah, a couple of them were there. Who specifically are you looking for? I guess. Because you've got
Fedora's,
a lot
Ones
of
that were
Quintilius, and
yelling at
Rosie.
us. Yeah.
Cadoris, Quintilius, and Rosie were the ones that we had to tell everything to, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what my brain says.
Yes.
Is that what my nose says? My notes say?
That's-
Not my nose, my notes.
That's what your nose tells you. Yes, that's who you were
Follow
talking
your
to
nose.
previously. So I think Quintilius was probably at this lecture. I think he can find the other two relatively quickly. It's after classes and everything, so a lot of people are hanging out, we'll say, at Bow's End at the tavern. So you can go back there, get your corner table that you always sit at. Hi, yeah. And they all just kind of wait for you to say what you're going to say.
This is very creepy with the three of you sitting there like that.
Rosie laughs and goes, I told you it would scare him.
Mission accomplished.
Just a little joke.
Yes.
Don't take it personal.
So we learned a lot.
I mean, yeah, we was in the library with you, so...
We have a couple of questions about the Badlands.
About the Badlands?
Yes.
Okay.
That's where it
If-
looks like we're going to be going.
Yes. It looks like we have
Yikes.
to do some on-site investigation of the Badlands.
Okay.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how illegal is probably not the right word. Wait, is it illegal?
Is it illegal?
Morally, I'm okay with it.
Not that I know of. Quintilius and Cadoris kind of look at each other and shake their heads like, no, not as far as I'm aware.
Is
So
it
it's
forbidden?
not- Yes.
Well, I mean, I think forbidden is a strong word. It's supposedly a really terrible place that no one wants to go to. Also, there's lots of ruins and things out there that are inherently very dangerous, also interesting, but typically not a field trip destination.
So discouraged, but not entirely frowned upon.
Sure.
Okay. I just need
That's
to know the
good.
level of which we're going to be taking a risk here.
I suppose it
We
depends
don't
on
want to
who
get
you
in
tell.
trouble.
Oh, that's fair.
Well, it turns out that the Dean Tollus, has recently been there in an expedition with... what was the other professor's name?
Professor Scrimmett.
Scrimmett. So Dean Tollus and Professor Scrimmett had recently gone on an expedition to the Wildlands, and Dean Tollus is like writing up their findings. So we were thinking that we'd like ask Dean Tollus like for information, like where we should start looking for this sort of thing. But if they're going to just say fuck no and tell us not to go, then maybe we need to like, I don't know, break into their office and then sneak a peek at it or something like that.
Break into the dean's office.
Maybe.
Well, I
Potentially.
didn't necessarily agree to that.
No, just throwing out hypotheticals, you know.
Kadoris kind of thinks about it for a second. I mean, it's a thought. I don't know that Dean Tullis is really going to encourage you to go out into the Badlands and well, I don't really know what you'd be doing out there, but I don't know it personally, but I don't know that one of the deans would tell you to do something like that.
Would they tell us not to do something like that, though?
I think they'd probably tell you not to do something like that, yeah, if I had to guess. If it wasn't the Lorehold Dean, it might be, different, but she's pretty by the book. She's, out of the two, she's the Dean of Order. So,
Wait, that's my sister. So this is my sister's Dean?
What? What?
My sister.
I feel like I never understand what you're talking about.
But you said that's the Dean of Order.
Yeah,
that's my sister.
like order and chaos. And
Oh.
Oh
Chaos is my cousin, but they don't go here.
my gosh.
She doesn't even go here.
You know how, like, in the intro material, they tell you how every college has, like, its two pillars? And it's got two deans.
Yes.
There's a dean of each one. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. So Lorehold's got order and chaos. And I checked my pamphlet to make sure I was telling you the right thing. But yeah,
Sorry,
she's
it's
a
been
dean
a
of
while
order.
since we
So
made an order joke, so I had to do it.
I was like stealing myself for like what the other dean was, and I was waiting for it to be Law until I remembered that was your sister's name, and I was like, oh, we
Yeah.
already have Law and Order.
Wouldn't that be something?
Da-da.
Ethan, you can't just change the music. No.
I was gonna say, holy shit,
I
we're in a
didn't do
fight
it.
now. Kitten says
She wants
more
us to be
fighting.
in a fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's a murder hobo. She just wants us to kill everything.
If you start trying
I
to
mean,
climb the
honestly,
green
same.
screen again, it's over for you.
Oh no.
And you have to go back outside. Not outside, back into the house. Just so no one yells
You're
at
out.
me.
You're done.
Back outside
You're
of this
done.
room
In
specifically.
the yard.
No.
In the
You belong
yard.
to the streets now.
No, just out in the hallway so you can run up and down the stairs to your heart's content.
Zoom.
Anyway, so yeah, she's the Dean of Order, like lowercase o, Order. So she keeps things keeps a tight hold on things, a tight law hold on things. Thanks.
I get it.
All right. So what do we want to do then? If it doesn't seem like they're going to give us the information, Willoughby, you're not comfortable with, sneaking in and all that.
I would prefer we keep the breaking and entering to emergency situations only.
What if we hear somebody calling for help inside?
That would qualify as an emergency.
Perfect.
Okay, so if one of us sneaks in and calls for help, then it's okay for us to go in there.
Wait, no, that's not what I meant.
I'm
Same
starting
brain.
to understand a little bit about how you guys work. I think. I'm both impressed and concerned.
We've stayed alive this long, despite everything trying to kill us, so I feel like it's working.
Honestly, that's the thing
Well,
that
I say
shocks me the
alive.
most.
We have died multiple times when Sereia brings us back. But
Yes, we've had.
That is my
praise
power.
be.
So what do you need us to do?
That's a very good question.
Because if you're like going for, sneaking into the dean's office or whatever, we got your back on that. And then, other stuff too. But I can see how maybe you wouldn't want to risk it.
Well, maybe we start by taking a vested interest in the study and the findings of their expedition. I mean, Law, the professor experienced or expressed interest in having you be part of Lorehold. Maybe that's, I don't know,
Quadrix,
thinking back to
yeah.
the future entrepreneurs meetings I've been to, I feel like that's your in.
You are learning a lot, Willoughby.
Thank you. I'm trying my best.
I guess I could go to Professor. I lost her name again.
Grimmett.
Grimmett.
Scrimmit. I'm going to write it down this
Nyx Scrimmett. That's a chat NPC name, and I love it. It's fun to
It's
say.
amazing.
It's fun to say.
time. Professor Skrillex. I can go talk to them. I hurt Rob.
Is this payback for the Willoughby voice?
Yes.
Fucking.
I've spent so much time being a nice sprite. I'm going to turn into a scary monster soon.
And that's a deep cut for the time that I listened to dubstep. Thanks, College Rob.
So
God.
I
What is happening?
that's not a bad idea.
Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites is a Skrillex song.
Rob,
Don't thank
or
me,
not
thank
Rob,
Cobb.
Your name's Willoughby.
Yeah. College Rob.
No, I was there with you, buddy.
Okay, great. Somebody has to be.
Law. You were saying?
I don't remember anymore. I like your idea, Willoughby. I can go talk to Professor Scrimmett and see if I can get any help from them without explicitly saying what we're trying to do.
You catch more flies with honey than fly paper. No.
I think you catch a lot of flies with flypaper.
Yeah. Admittedly,
That's sort of
I
the
stopped-
reason for flypaper.
Admittedly, I've been missing a couple of entrepreneur meetings. Don't tell Giselle.
It's okay. I won't say anything. I've missed a few too.
So has she.
all right. She has. She hasn't been here for a while, and honestly, I'm worried about her grades. All right. Well, I can do that. As for our friends here, I guess we just need to know how many of you want to come with us and, do this ding dang thing.
Are you sure you don't want
does
us to
anybody
break
want
in?
to come?
Oh, sorry, Sereia, go ahead.
Oh no, I just said, does anybody want to come to the Badlands? It sounds like it should be dangerous.
She says with a smile on her face.
I was wondering if you guys wanted any of us to break into the dean's office, but the Badlands. I mean, I don't know, you guys.
That's okay. You don't have to. We just wanted to be open and honest, like you asked us to be.
I mean, I
I
really
didn't want to exclude you.
Yeah, I mean, I
Mhm.
really don't want you guys to go out there by yourselves, but whew. It's
Well, if you'd like to break into the dean's office, you're more than welcome to, but we should try talking to them first.
I mean, I've done it before, but
I am going to pretend that I didn't hear that.
It was for a practicum that I did with with some practical skills. Independent study. I got me one of those. There you go, Willoughby. You're in the
Okay.
clear. You're such a good guy.
Kind of like how Giselle practices taking our things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, except she gives them back.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like karmatically you're where I want you to be, and then you keep talking,
Yeah.
and then I feel conflicted again.
Karma's not really a thing where I'm from. But hey, I'm not here to say, what you believe in is weird. Anyway, the Badlands. We got classes and stuff too. Are you sure you guys want to do this?
We are
If there's-
pretty sure we don't want to keep having things try to kill us.
Yeah, and if there's something threatening the campus and it involves us going to the Badlands to stop it, we have to.
We'll try the professor route first and see if we can get information and not have to go to the Badlands. But we might end up having to go to the Badlands.
Quintilius pipes up and says, well, it's good that you told us, because now that, a couple of us know where you're going, so if something happens, we know where to send people, but also we can cover for you.
Good point.
Cadoris looks like he's
Very
thinking
true.
really hard.
Don't hurt yourself, Cadoris.
I'll go with you. Quintilius like, what? Oh yeah. You guys are gonna be better at covering for them and all that stuff than I am, and I don't really know what else I would do to help, so I'll go. As backup. If that's okay.
I'm good with that.
Only if you're okay with it.
Yeah. Honestly, school's not really my thing. I'm not very good at it, so I'm missing a little bit. It's not gonna hurt me.
You're a born adventurer, Doris.
Yeah, something like that. Okay, so I'll be on your team, and then Cadoris and Rosie can... Quintilius and Rosie, I'm Cadoris. Sorry, we spend so much time together. It's crazy. Sometimes I forget he's not me. They'll stay here, and I'll go with you. Just let me know when you're ready to go. If you go. If you go.
If we go, which we're probably going to do. All right. What else do we need to plan out here in our share circle?
Oh, do you guys want to help with the masquerade ball?
Define help.
Probably just decorate and maybe help me decide on menu things. You also don't have to, it's totally fine.
Oh.
But I'm gonna need a lot of hands the day I have to decorate.
Oh, yes, I can do that. Rosie's like, yeah, sure. Why not?
Perfect. I'll let you know details as they come.
Yeah, sounds good. Cool. We're making all kinds of plans.
We're a planning bunch.
It seems kind of weird
This
coming
is the
from you
inner
guys.
circle.
But I
We're
like it.
trying to be better about planning.
Yeah, I like this new turn you're taking. It's fun. libraries and planning. And then going to the Badlands sometimes.
Again, sometimes I feel that the higher power speaks through you, questioning all my life choices.
Oh, you guys didn't know I was a paladin?
Oh, no, that fits.
Paladin friends.
I'm double majoring. Yeah, trying something new.
Some of us call that multiclassing, but that double major works too.
I mean, I take multiple classes every semester.
Stupid. I set myself up for that one. You're right.
You did.
I deserve that.
You do. So, masquerade planning, field trip planning, putting a pin and breaking and entering for now. Is that what I'm getting?
Right, putting a pin and breaking and entering for now.
Law, I've really told you you've got to stop doubling up on the dragon peppers.
They just make my eyes so itchy.
Right. Alright. Well, I guess you know where to find us if you need us, and we'll send us some things for the masquerade in the meantime.
Sounds good. Break.
Break.
And we will also take our break
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
right now.
Break.
Like we planned it.
Just like we'd scripted it in the writer's room that we have.
Flawless.
Thanks everybody for hanging out with us so far. Thanks for the chat redemptions. It was a pretty good loot drop day, I would say. That's a pretty good one. You got another pet, which I love, because I don't have to take responsibility for them because I refuse to. That's on you. But thanks for the chat redemptions and thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. We will be back in just a few short minutes, so stick around, and we will come back for part 2 very shortly. We'll see you soon. And welcome back, Internet. Thanks for hanging out with us during our break. We are refreshed and ready to get back into it. So, you guys made a plan with your buds. Kadoris volunteering to provide an extra hand if you decide you need to leave campus and go on a bit of an adventure. And Quintilius and Rosie offering to have your back socially and cover for you. And also send help if you disappear. So there we go. What do you guys want to do now? Law, you had wanted to go talk to Professor Scrimmett. Do you want to do that now?
I mean, if that's the best place for us to start, that avoids us committing a crime, then sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think you
also
guys
think
laid
it
it out pretty well. That if you don't want to jump straight to breaking into the dean's office, you could talk to somebody first.
We tend to just default to the most extreme.
Yeah, which is why I'm
options.
kind of
Sometimes
shocked
it's
right now.
So yeah, Law can do that. Does anyone want? So Law's not necessarily the most socially gifted individual.
What?
I don't know if Willoughby wants to tag along. Maybe some charming.
I will absolutely back you up.
Thank you, Willoughby. That I think it'll make me feel good to know that you're there and can help me talk.
Just remember that you're capable and intelligent, and there's a reason that people want to talk to you.
That's very nice. I need to hear that more often. Do you think I could take a recording of you saying these things sometime and just carry it around with me to make me feel better?
A Willoughby
Cool.
button.
Yes. And I could make more. I could make them for our friends too if they need, pick me
I
up.
think they would be a hit on campus, to be honest.
And it might even be instead of because I would keep it in a little button or coin or something, and that would be difficult to remember to hold on to. We could create little Willoughby figurines or something, like little stuffed Willoughbys, and put them inside.
Oh, like a Willoughby pin that you can put on your clothes, and then you push it.
Yes. Oh, that's even better. Just a little pin, and anytime you need a pep talk, you just tap the pin, and it says nice things that Willoughby would say about you.
Yes. It's obviously not as good as having the real Willoughby there, but we have him most of the time, and not everybody can.
Yeah, it's really unfair that we take up so much of your time.
No,
But
it's my
selfishly, I'm
pleasure.
glad.
All right, we'll work on that later. We have a lot of schemes going on right now, so we should probably do these one at a time. What are we doing again?
Talking to the Dean of Lorehold.
Right.
Do you want to talk to the Dean of Lorehold, or do you want to talk to Professor Scrimmet first?
Oh. Wait, maybe. Yeah, sorry.
Professor Scrimmet, yeah.
Yeah.
Professor Scrimmet
Sorry.
was the one that really likes law.
Right.
Yes, the one that gave the
So-
talk. He's a Quandrix professor.
They went on the expedition
Together, yes,
though,
yeah.
right?
yeah.
Oh, okay,
That is
okay.
correct.
Gotcha.
So this game, this module, this book is just full of names, and it doesn't help that I'm adding some.
No, I'm
Fine,
also
at least-
bad at remembering anything that's important.
Bruh, me too.
But I can tell you that one embarrassing thing I did in 6th grade. Clear as day. Anxiety.
Woo! We all have them.
Woo!
What do we do with them?
Here we
Mine's
go.
a
I'll
little
tell you.
goblin.
Who's going to Quandrix?
Okay.
The answer wasn't therapy.
Who's going to therapy?
At least Law and Willoughby, unless Sereia also wants to tag along, or she's too busy planning her party.
I'll go. Why not?
Okay.
Okay.
That way, we all ask all the questions that we think need to be asked.
That's a perfectly fair way to handle it. There's nothing worse than being the one person in the party in charge of talking and then not remembering what questions your friends wanted you to ask. Alright, so you head over to the Quandrix campus, which you all have been to at least briefly, because you went to a bar here a little while back, and that's how you have classes here as well. So you head into the main building that sort of houses the administration, and you make your way up one of the magical lifts to the 3rd floor, where several of the professors have their offices. Let me just pull this up really quick. You make your way down the hall a couple of rooms, and you see a door on the left with a plaque, sort of a bronzed plaque next to it. It's pretty old, a little tarnished, but engraved in it is Professor Nix Scrimmet, Quandrix Professor of Substance.
What's the other Quandrix thing? It's substance and...
Theory is the other one.
Theory, okay.
The questions being, is mathematics a natural force that exists in the universe, independent of the constructs of intelligent minds, or is it a theoretical framework created by those who study it? Don't think about it too hard, you'll have an existential crisis.
I just call that Monday.
Is it the work of the scholar
Too
to
late.
discover what is, or to define what could be? Quandrix is cool, you guys. I mean, they're all cool. This place is cool.
Law knocks at the door.
Come in, come in.
Pokes in. Hi, Professor Scrimmet. Do you have open office hours? I realized I didn't know. Do you have time to talk right now?
Oh no, sure, come in. I was just putting some of these books away. Here, give me a hand.
Oh, of course. Law will go and try to help the best they can.
You can reach some. You guys can reach some shelves he can't reach. He's not very tall. He's dwarf, so. Yes. Oh, yes. I remember you three. Well, I suppose it wasn't that long ago, earlier today, that I saw you. Well done today. It's nice to see students from other areas of study branching out. So, what can I do for you today?
Well, we were actually very interested in something you said at the end of the lecture. Willoughby was even, I think, the most interested. We heard you and Dean Tullis are working on like a special project regarding the Badlands.
Oh, yes, you mean the expedition we went on a few weeks ago. Yes, we are.
Yes, that.
Dean Tullis and I are longtime colleagues and friends. So yes, we occasionally expedition out together. And it's getting a bit more difficult for me as I get up there in years, but I can handle myself in a scrap. This one expedition we went on in particular, are you familiar with Slod?
Yes, actually,
Intimately.
very familiar.
Oh,
we just had an
Fortunately,
exam about
intimately.
them. Yes.
And fought one.
Interesting. Well, we encountered a strange nest of beings that had been captured by the Slod, and the Slod were using them to lay their eggs. It was very horrifying and also quite interesting, but we were able to get most of them out, but we'd found a lot of interesting things along the way. You see, there was this curious writing on the wall, and I've never known the Slod to have sort of a written language, but we found these strange glyphs, so we brought them back and began to study them, and then lo and behold, the beings were communicating with each other in a written language. It was fascinating. The next time we went on an expedition, we found something even strange. He's going to keep going unless someone stops him.
Honestly, that first one was so interesting. I didn't want to stop him, so now I want to see whatever he's going to
Willoughby
say
will
next.
100% let this person go.
The next expedition we went on, what we actually found was another clutch of sorts. It was of eggs, but this time it was wyvern. You see, we had made our way up a little bit north of campus, up into the mountains, and found a pass that wasn't on any of the maps we had brought with us, or any of the maps I had previously studied of the area. So, of course, we went right in, not thinking anything but adventure, and we came across this clutch of wyvern eggs tucked way back in a little, in the edge of a little chasm. And I tried to do some sketches and get some images of them, and while we were there, well, Mother Wyvern had made her way back from hunting in the woods below, so I'm sure you can imagine how that went very dead. That's actually how I got this scar right here. You can sort of see where my beard hair hasn't grown back. That was 3 or 4 years ago now. Anyway, it was quite fascinating. Wyvern breeding patterns have actually changed a lot over the course of the years. You should talk to Professor Lang at some point. She's... Yes.
We will. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But the slot, was that in the expedition? Was that also in the Badlands?
I believe it was. Why?
Right. Just curious. We didn't know if there were more slod out there in the Badlands, or if that's a common thing out there.
Well, I wouldn't say it's particularly common. I wouldn't say the creatures are particularly common anywhere, really. I mean, some aren't even quite sure where they originated from, but they have been seen before out in the Badlands, yes, by me and Dean Dean Tullis in particular.
Right. What sort of other creatures are common out there in the Badlands?
Oh, you get all sorts out in the Badlands. We've encountered Slardy, at least once. Many insectoid type creatures and very large, not your common household bugs and spiders. Yeah, things like the ankeg, for example, the burrowing types. There are flying creatures out there as well, wyverns, all sorts of things. And many beasts as well, the non-magical types and birds of prey. And yeah, there's many things in the ecosystem.
Have you ever encountered something called the Mage Hunter in the Badlands?
A mage hunt? Oh, good lord, no. Those shouldn't be anywhere near Strixhaven.
Right, of course. Definitely not.
You're from Kaladesh, aren't you?
Yes.
I understand. Just some of the ecosystems are similar, but no, there shouldn't be any creatures like that, my dear. Anywhere near here.
That's good. That makes that makes me feel a lot better. When you were out there expeditioning, I don't know if that's the correct use of the word.
Sure.
Is there any place are there structures out there that you'd found particularly interesting? Like, why do you keep going out there?
The Badlands, as it stands now, wasn't always the Badlands. The Badlands is actually the source of an old magical catastrophe that happened many centuries ago. It's kept any greenery from growing, any plant life, except for things that can survive in the desert, of which there are many, and they are very hardy plants, and some of them are even sentient. So you want to be careful with things like that. That's why Professor Lang used to come with us. If you've taken magical physiology, as you know her. But yes, there are structures in the Badlands. Particularly the fortress Badlands is where we've been expeditioning. It's exactly what it sounds like. There is an old fortress out in the Badlands.
And are there any people that live out there?
Oh no, not exactly a hospitable climate. It certainly wouldn't kill you, but it definitely is not comfortable for most folk, except maybe the Eladrin in certain phases, but they so rarely come through our plane.
Right. It looks to Willoughby and Sereia.
I'm sure that you have heard about all the random attacks that have happened on campus.
Yes, all the faculty have been made aware.
Did you hear about the most recent one, speaking of Slad?
No.
We were attacked by a Slad when we were practicing on the Mage Tower pitch. That's called the field.
Aerojaunt Field.
An Aerojaunt Field.
Dear. Well, you all seem intact and not full of eggs, so that's wonderful news.
Yes, we handled it. But we did find through an autopsy, because we're interested in those sorts of academic things, some, what was it, red, rock, sand, something? Shit, looks to her friends.
Yeah,
in
sediment.
some closed wounds that looked like they were older. The quick healing.
Yes,
yeah,
they have a certain healing factor.
So there was, that kind of stuff. And we thought it might have come from the Badlands. And so we were wondering if you would know how something from there would get here to attack students.
Well,
since you are so knowledgeable about the Badlands and the routes in which you take to get there from here.
Of course. Well, strictly speaking, I'm afraid not. I mean, there are certain routes we take when we travel out there, certain paths that have been not laid, but sort of tamped down and made safer for travel that direction. Especially, I mean, there are other things south of Strixhaven. I suppose it's 20 miles or so south of here. I suppose it's possible something could have made its way here, but the wards and the things protecting the school should keep out. I mean, creatures like Slard should be no match for that kind of thing.
Well, unfortunately, it seems like that is not the case.
Would you like to see the body?
Actually, I very much would. I do have some questions. What color? Slard.
Blue, right?
Blue. Yes.
I think it was a blue one, yeah.
Yes. Most of my interactions have been with the green or the occasional red, but those you want to stay very, very far away from. Yes, actually, I would very much like to see this.
We have it in cold storage.
Oh. Well, good for you, being proactive. I admire that.
So
Should we
it's safe
go
to say
now?
that's not something that would just wander in of its own accord, without some assistance in some way, shape, or form.
In my experience, I think you've got the right of it there, Sereia.
Okay.
It's very
Would you
troubling.
like to see the body now?
Oh, well. Where are you keeping it?
One of the what's the school I'm in? Witherbloom? One of the labs, right? That's where we have our little
Yeah.
our little setup.
Oh. Well, it might be good for me to get out and go for a bit of an evening walk. It's just the next campus over. Why don't we take a stroll, children?
Lovely.
Wonderful.
He's gonna grab a walking stick and put the rest of his books away. All right, an adventure. Kind of follow you along. Do you have any more questions for him along the way?
I love that we essentially just said, "Want to see a dead body?"
Want to see a body? Want to see something we killed?
Yep.
I mean, besides the Witherbloom professors, I feel like his vibe was very much like, yes, I would like to see that dead body, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like it was a safe bet.
He's an old mage and he's been at this a long time.
Yeah.
Not
I
a
feel-
lot
I
can
felt
scare this guy.
unfazed.
He's like 600 years old.
Yeah, he felt unfazed.
As you kind of walk along, Mr. Wanderfoot, is that right? Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Wanderfoot. What a wonderful name. So adventurous. Your friends had said you were particularly interested in the Badlands, in the Fortress Badlands. Is there a reason?
Oh God,
You did kind of put him on the spot there, you guys.
the most honest
I did.
character is getting asked about this.
But I mean,
Oh,
it's also
boy.
true because we're all interested in it. I just put Willoughby out there because I figured if anybody needed to convince him, it was
Yeah.
going to be Willoughby.
You mean the charisma modifier king?
Yes.
We
He says,
stand a
"I'm sure
short
I'll-"
king.
We stand a short king.
Well, our concerns more lie in, I guess, if goings on in the Badlands are somehow related to these incidents on campus. As Sereia mentioned, we found the sedimentary evidence in the body of the Slod, and that would suggest that perhaps it spent time in the Badlands or was taken out of the Badlands. And you specifically cited encountering Slotty in the Badlands. We're just concerned about the increase in incidents, and we're just trying to be proactive as students.
Well, Mr. Wonderfoot, that is both understandable and noble, especially since, from what you've said, it seems as though you sort of went face to face with this creature. Yes, that is what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
Yes.
I am sorry you went through that. They are terrifying. Even at their most docile, they are terrifying creatures, and what they can do to folks like you and me is not pretty. We study what we can, but we don't want people to be put in danger, obviously. And it seems like you all sort of know what that feels like. So I guess from one adventurer to another, I think it's noble that you're looking out for your classmates. You all look very somber. Would you like to hear another story?
Yes, definitely.
I would.
Well, let me tell you about when I was a student here at Strixhaven. One of the, she's passed on now, but a friend of mine, an elven friend named Ilara, she and I, thick as thieves, close as anything when we were here at school. Both Quandrix students. She was a little bit, what does the kids say nowadays? When she first got here, she was a bit, straight edge. That's it. And, it took a bit to get her to come out of her shell, but by our third year, after the masquerade ball, she'd had so much of the punch that we climbed to the top of the bell tower, and she jumped right off so she could test her new featherfall spell. It was incredible. I've never seen such a thing.
And was she okay?
Oh, yes.
Featherfall?
Yes. Oh, no, the spell worked quite well, actually. She'd been modifying it a bit, you see, sort of adding on to the equations of it to see if she could manipulate it a bit more. So not quite a fly spell, but a little bit more, a little bit more maneuverability than a feather fall would typically give you. It was quite successful, yes, and it was the bravest thing I've ever seen her do.
That is something. So
She
you were a
sounds
bit of
fun.
a troublemaker, it sounds like, while you were here,
Oh.
Professor.
More than a bit, Law, more than a bit. Who do you think spiked the punch?
Professor?
Oh, look, we're here.
I love this guy.
I do too. I don't
Yeah,
know
we're
who
gonna
he
hang out
is
with
or
him
where he
again.
came from, but he's here now.
He's here now.
He's Merlin from the Disney one. The
Yeah.
Disney.
Yes. Guys, I don't know how many more stories I can make up on the spot.
We're going to get as
I'm
many as
so
we can
impressed.
at
There
this
was an
point.
alternate universe where we literally let him go on for the last hour of the stream. Savvy would have been like 5 stories deep, and suddenly like a raven came through the window and was like, "Caw, motherfuckers!"
Yeah,
I would play a game just listening to this guy's stories.
I have no
Yes.
notes
Not
for
gonna
this
lie.
man except for the lecture that he gave. I don't know who he is or where he came from, but he lives in my heart forever. Professor Scrimmett, since it's after hours, lets you guys into the building. Says, "All right, show me this corpse."
If I had the nickel
me
for
that.
every time I heard that.
How many
Right?
nickels, Val?
Too many.
How do you think Law built that armor?
And is it more than one?
Several more cents. We whip out a body.
All right, you make your way up the lift to that top floor where the greenhouse is, and go over to the cold storage. You open it. The slot is still there. little frosty at this point. Still there. Oh, I see. Blue slot indeed. He starts to look it over a little bit. Oh, well, I have to say, pretty solid work for students. Well done. I see you cracked into the skull there. a bit. I assume looking for a control gem.
Exactly, actually.
Did you find it?
No, it appeared that it was already gone.
Oh. Well, in that case, Mr. Wonderfoot, that backs up your theory that outer powers might be involved in this. Those gems are very valuable and very powerful. So if someone has the one that was in this one's head, well, I think that would answer your question. Unfortunately. Are any of you the son of a disgraced king, or, I don't know, a political prisoner or something?
My dad's in politics, but I'm not well, it feels like I'm a prisoner sometimes at home, but I'm not technically one, no.
Are you alright?
Oh, no, it's fine. I'm being melodramatic. It's just my father's very controlling.
Well, you're not the first Strixhaven student to go through that's for sure. We do have on-campus counseling and things like that if you need it. We need me to point you to it.
I'll keep that in mind.
My parents were assassinated and they tried to kill me too.
That feels like something more important for counseling, actually, than my story.
Really? Well,
Yes.
that's certainly something.
But I'm not from this plane, so I don't know why they would follow me here. I don't even know if anybody knows here. Up until I came here, everybody thought that I was dead.
Well, now you've resurfaced. Well, that's something to consider, although you're right, if you are on a different plane, it certainly changes the probability of that being your answer. Willoughby? Mini skeletons in your closet?
Looks at Willoughby pointedly.
Oh, one time my little brother and one of my little brothers, I've got 17 siblings.
Oh, that is a feat in and of itself.
One of my little brothers and I one time got caught sneaking into the pantry after bedtime. And my dad's also in politics. He's on the school board.
Oh, good for him. We need more folks contributing in that way. Well, I don't know that that's necessarily anything to send a slod because of.
Probably not. I got grounded already for like a week.
That probably took care of it then.
Mm-hmm.
What's
Mhm.
grounding?
It's when your parents tell you, Willoughby, you've been a bad boy. You need to stay in your room and think about what you've done.
They made you stay in your room for a week?
My mom's kind of a softie. It was like 3 days. She says, don't tell your father.
But did you?
No. I always listen to my mom.
This is not your sugar mommy. This sounds like regular mommy.
And this sounds like a conversation I should not be a part of. Now, I'm not here to shame anybody, but you are my students. That is your personal business. We're all adults here. I just am an adult in a position of power over your studies and grades, so I would rather not be a part of this.
Professor, have
Willoughby
you ever been to
doesn't
the club that
understand,
crawls? The
but
pub that crawls?
But Rob is concerned.
That old story. No, I've never seen the pub that crawls. Although I tell you, we went to look
sure?
for it.
You seem like the type that would have found it.
No, we did try, but it's difficult. It's a difficult piece of magic to pin down. We were ultimately unsuccessful, but it made for quite a rousing night there.
Well,
It
if
was
you ever want to
fun.
go, we're in tight with the owner.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You'll have to show me sometime. So,
Would you like to complete your own full autopsy and take trace evidence to discover?
well,
Or
yeah.
do you trust our findings?
Well, looking over it, it seems like everything you've found and told me is matches up here. I would say to rope in one of the Witherbloom professors. The one that you'd want is Professor Lang, and she's a kind soul. She's just a bit of a stickler for the rules, so perhaps don't tell her what you're using the freezer for. But
I think
yes,
she stopped asking questions when it comes to me at this point.
well, if you have that sort of relationship, then have at it. But your findings seem to hold up upon inspection.
Good. Great job, Law.
Yes, well done,
Thank
all of
you.
you. This is crack work.
Are there any other questions we need to ask the professor?
I'm out. I'm out of ideas.
I think I am too.
Ma'am?
Oh, wait. I don't know how to ask this without being very suspicious.
It seems
You
like this
said there
guy's
were-
very trusting. You can get away with most anything.
You said there were several safer roads to get to the Badlands from here?
Yes, there are a couple that are laid out. Any newer maps of Strixhaven have them, but adventurers over time and expeditions over time sort of mapped out the most trusted routes, the ones that will keep you out of the sun for long stretches, and then mostly since folks have been going back and forth for years now, they most of the wildlife tends to stay away.
I like to study maps.
Of course.
But yeah, do you have any maps that we could look at for our own studies?
Well, I mean, I have several atlases and maps of the region going back pretty much my entire life. I don't usually loan them out.
We're very responsible when it comes to paperwork and books, documents.
I'm gonna have somebody roll a persuasion check. You've all been part of the conversation. I feel like any of you could do it.
I've only got a +1.
I have a plus.
I think Willoughby should do it. In my expert opinion.
Should he, based on Rob's face?
I'm
gonna
think,
use
you know
one
what?
of
Let
my
me think about it.
Student dice.
Okay.
Oh my god. This is not going well.
You know what?
That's
I think
8 total.
I think
And I remind you that I have a +6 to persuasion, so do the math on that one.
Jeez.
I refuse to do the math on that one. I think because you do have 2 people helping you, I can justify giving you an advantage.
Wee!
It seems unfair for me to not, since you guys
Oh
all
my fucking
really
god!
participated.
Did you roll the same thing?
No, I rolled 1 better. I rolled a 1 and a 2, and then on my student die, I rolled a 1. That's a 9.
Throw
No.
that die right out the window.
No, they're my
What?
shiny dark matter dice. They're not.
Then don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Those aren't nice.
Those are pretty.
We'll forgive them this time. Well,
This time only.
they're very
They're on
old.
thin ice.
They're very old documents. Please don't take it personally. Although, I might be able to give you something in lieu of that. That would help. Oftentimes students in my classes request access to the Scriptoria collections in the Biblioplex. I'm sure you've never been down there as first year students. You don't often go. It's the downstairs, the basement, where lots of things are kept. I could write you a note for the librarians to give you access to the collections. then you could look at some things that interest you, perhaps in a safer environment.
That would be incredibly helpful. Thank you.
That wasn't where we ended up, right? We ended up on the second floor.
Yes, yeah, you were in the advanced stacks on the second floor.
That's right.
The Scriptoria is the basement of the
That was where we
Biblioplex.
were like totally barred from. They were like, nah, dude.
Mm-hmm. Would that be helpful?
Definitely. Knowledge is power, as they say.
As they say indeed, Mr. Wonderfoot. Well, all right. And he just sort of takes out a piece of paper and scribbles on it with a pen. There you go.
So official.
It's impossible to read. Looks like a doctor wrote it.
Perfect.
Okay,
Thank
I'm gonna
you.
put away the slotty batty.
It's a good idea. You should keep that on ice. They do start to smell very quickly.
How long have you been sitting on that? That smile tells me hours.
It actually just popped into my head because I had
That's
body
brilliant.
yaddy 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 stuck in my head. And then I was like slotty body, slotty body.
Slotty body, slotty body, slotty.
That's good.
Slotty yaddy 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 yaddy.
Just the proud smile after it
Do
came
you-
out of your mouth was just beautiful.
Do you
It
guys
was-
know?
It's like a mixture of embarrassment and also pride.
Do you guys know that people pay money to subscribe to this Twitch channel?
And you
That's
should keep
why.
doing it.
That's why.
Join us next week when I'll have a full rendition of Megan Thee Stallion, but to Slotty.
If you don't, I'm gonna be so disappointed.
I'll at least do the first verse. I got a lot of downtime. Next week I'll rap. Here we go.
Yes.
Next week, Sereia raps.
If you come on this show in 1 week's time and you rap any of that song, I'll give you guys a free loot drop.
Oh my god.
This is not a joke.
Done and done.
I will do it. Okay. Well, is there anything else I can help you with this evening, students?
I
When
think you've been very helpful, but Willoughby, yes.
Oh yeah, no, you've been extremely helpful. Are your findings from the Badlands going to be published eventually?
Eventually, yes. Dean Tullis is sort of compiling everything. So she's not teaching classes this semester, so she's mostly doing research. So she's compiling everything. She's got her notes and my notes and the artifacts that we've brought back and everything. In a couple of weeks' time, I believe she was going to do a bit of a presentation for the students first. So we can answer any questions, and we like to let our students sort of get in first and be able to reap the benefits of being at a research university such as this. So yeah, you can look forward to that.
Awesome.
I don't have anything. Thank you so much, Professor, for helping us.
Of course, it's been a little bit since anyone came to my office hours, so I'm having a good time.
I can promise I'll come by again for more stories. They were very exciting to hear.
Mm-hmm.
We've got plenty to tell. Now, if we are done here, I am going to go and have a nightcap and then head off for the evening.
You let us know when you'd like to go to the pub that crawls.
I will. All right. You all have a good night now, students, and my door is always open to you. Come by anytime if you have questions.
Thank you.
Yes, good night.
Good night.
Walks away with his walking stick.
I like.
It's very helpful.
So, do we want to wait to go until the findings are out, or do we feel like
Can we-
that's going to help?
Can we afford to wait?
I don't know. I feel like there's definitely going to be another attack if we wait. But there might be another attack whether we go or not. So honestly, like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but it might be worth looking at those notes prematurely.
No, Willoughby. You're
I know.
encouraging crime?
I'm going to ground myself.
I'm so proud of you.
My mommy's not gonna be.
I think there's some moral gray ground here because of the fact that people are in mortal peril at this school currently until we solve this mystery, and nobody seems to be taking it seriously besides us and our friends. So I think that we can operate from now on in a little bit of a gray area and give ourselves some permissions going forward to solve the mystery, and we'll ask for forgiveness later.
Willoughby hugs you.
Pats his little head.
Thank you.
I think mortal peril outweighs moral ambiguity.
I agree. And Giselle would agree too if she was here.
I was just about to say that.
Let's go steal something. It seemed like Rosie really wanted to help with that, so we should definitely ask Rosie.
Rosie for a heist. Oh, we do get to do a heist.
You get to do. I guess we're doing a
how did we
heist
get
right
here?
now.
Oh,
I mean, we don't have to. We can like go to the bar and drink or something.
We can find the second club that crawls.
So you'll have the pub that crawls and the club that crawls.
and the club that balls.
Yeah, the club that
Hey,
balls.
nope. You guys want to do a heist? We're doing a
Hey.
heist. Here we go.
Wish.
All right,
You
heist
go,
away.
You go find Rosie.
Can I trade in this character for Talon for like 5 minutes?
Nope. Let me just
Damn.
pull up Rosie's character sheet.
Law does recalibrate their armor for infiltrator mode, though.
I love that.
I don't know what that
Infiltrator
is.
mode.
Okay.
That's not even me
Recalibrating.
bullshitting. That is literally like that's what it's called. in
I
the
believe
book.
you.
That's
I
so
gotta
cool.
play an artificer sometime.
They're really
I know,
cool.
right? It's so cool.
All right. You go to find Rosie. You walk past her, I think, as you're heading back to main campus. She's sitting out on the patio of Beau's End Tavern with a few friends. And you approach. Hey, yo, what's up?
Yo, Rosie.
You know that thing we talked about earlier?
Yes, that thing.
There were so many.
The moral gray
Mood.
ground thing?
Oh, yeah.
It needs to happen.
Yo,
Are
really?
you in?
Yes.
Oh, you know it. Are we doing this tonight?
Better now than
Hell
never.
yeah.
Hell yeah. All the hells, yeah. Let's do it. Slams the rest of her beer. Let's go. All right.
Heist.
What's the plan?
We hadn't gotten any further than deciding we were going to do a heist, so let's do the planning right now.
Okay. So what's the goal? What's the aim here?
We need it. Should we plan on getting? We shouldn't take the notes. They'll notice
No.
those are gone. We should try to get like a copy, like right. Just does anyone have a way to copy notes very quickly? If only there was a machine for this. I feel like it would break all the time, but it would be very convenient when it did work.
No.
Willoughby
This
is
is
a very
some real
fierce
niche
note
humor
taker.
that I'm cashing into, right? And that I'm cashing in on right now.
Real office culture stuff.
I am
No, my abilities
a
are kind of
fierce
the
note
opposite
taker.
of that. I would like to remind everybody that they've seen me cast the ability reduced to memory. It seems like the opposite of what we're going for.
No, we want increase to memory. Memory, make memory.
Commit to memory.
Commits to
I'm
memory.
super good at reading and finding stuff. I can comprehend
I'm
any
looking-
language once we get in there, boy.
All right, I can make a magic mouth that doesn't skywrite. I don't think that'd be helpful. Putting it in the sky.
Skywrite the note.
Wouldn't really do much good here.
The most like extra plagiarism ever.
I take notes
Frosty
and I
just
write them in the
like
stealing
sky.
your-
Just written.
Just like, God damn it.
I'll publish your notes in the sky.
Well,
I mean, I
if
love
you-
that
you
we
just-
don't have a mechanical option, but yeah, character-wise, I am a fierce note taker.
Yeah,
You are
Willoughby's a
fierce
fierce note
taker.
taker. And I just say, I mean, like, there are 4 of us. So, I mean, depending on how many notes it is, we could split it up. Or we could just, Willoughby, you could just take notes on the notes. You're really good at that. You pass all of our tests, so.
I could do
And maybe we'll
as
get
much
in there
shorthand
and,
as I can.
No,
Yeah. and maybe it'll just be very obvious what the important stuff is, and we won't even need to take notes.
Oh, yeah, maybe there'll just
Oh,
be like a
maybe he's
bullet pointed
highlighted.
list of the important shit that, like, somebody can just tell you what it is,
Well,
and then you just have
if
that
he's writing-
instead of the whole notes.
If he's doing a research paper on, there should be an abstract that he's already written at this point.
Yeah,
that will
maybe
give
like
us
an
the information
outline.
that we
Maybe
need.
she got like an outline or something.
Yes,
But yeah, no, I have full faith in Willoughby's note-taking abilities.
I agree. We've all seen him in class.
Oh yeah, it's like a madman.
The fiercest note taker that ever took
It's
notes,
like watching a street racer
but with a quill.
instead of a car.
Where is the professor's office?
So you're looking for Dean Tullis, right?
Yes, Dean Tullis.
Yeah. So she's
This
gonna
is very
be,
high up.
Yeah, she's one of the deans. No, she's actually gonna be in that place where they had the dean's wing. What the hell's that building called? Willoughby, the building with all the deans in it.
Yes, Willoughby knows.
It's,
Rob
it's called
might
Archaeo
not.
Memorial Hall. It is
The Archaeo Memorial Hall.
You freaking genius over here. I knew you'd get it. It's the primary administrative building on the Lorehold campus. So it's the admin building on Lorehold. It's also where the dean's offices are. You guys would know. A couple of you are basically in Lorehold.
Is it more okay? Would their office be more or less than 60 feet off the ground? I assume it has a window.
I tell you what, it's on the first floor.
Oh,
You know
that's
the
even
dean's got their own like whole wing of that building. Isn't that crazy? There's just 2 of them.
That is crazy. How
Yeah,
big
they
is
get
their
it's called the
office?
Dean's Wing. Just nuts, man. I'm learning so much.
Well, I had all sorts of plans for using a rope trick to get up there, and then feather falling out in a full like heist mode. But if it's on the first floor, then I don't think we even really need to worry about that.
Probably not. We could probably just break in a window.
We could just go through to the window.
Willoughby, you look like you're thinking really hard.
Meta-wise, I was looking through spells to see if there's anything I could prepare to help us with this, but
Cool.
I can also meta-wise. I have access to vortex warp now.
What in the
Um,
absolute fuck is that?
It's the Quandrix spell.
Oh,
um,
that's right. You're a math nerd.
I am a math nerd, yes, and it allows me to magically twist space around another creature you can see within range. That target can make a saving throw. They can choose to fail, or the target is teleported to an unoccupied space of your choice that you can see within range. Chosen creature must be on the surface. So I could teleport somebody into the room as long as I can see inside.
That would work.
So, like, teleport one of you in, you open the window from the inside, let the rest of us in, we get the notes that we need. Most of us
I also
go
have
out.
Pass Without a Trace. So any stealth things, we all get a +10 too.
That sounds good. I could put The only thing we'd need to worry about, because if we're going in and out through the window, we just need a way to keep an eye out to make sure they're not. Somebody needs to keep an eye on the Dean. And have a way to communicate. We don't have any sending stones or anything, do we?
We do have animal friends.
Do have animal friends.
Let's see, because I don't think Dutch works like a familiar, so it can't communicate telepathically.
No, we talked about this when you killed the slot and left Dutch to guard its body.
Yeah. Dutch can just fly to me and be like, hey, shit's coming. I can make sending stones, but I won't be able to do that right now.
It's okay. I think we can have an animal lookout or a Dutch lookout.
Yeah, that works.
We got this. Window, someone goes teleporting inside, Pass the Trace makes us stealthy, we read some notes, we leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like a plan to me.
Foolproof. What could go wrong?
Hey, don't say that.
If all else fails, I just will grow a 100-foot wall of plants and block the entire hallway while we escape.
I like the confidence.
I can do that now. I just read it. Being a druid's fun.
We're getting that to that point where we can solve all our problems with methods that are way too extra.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we doing this?
Yes.
All right, let's go.
We nonchalantly make our way towards the dean's office.
Head over to the Lorehold campus to Archaeo Memorial Hall. Anybody who, any of you that are taking Lorehold classes and stuff like that have probably been in this building at some point. So you know that like the first floor is kind of split into two wings. One of them is sort of the administrative wing, and one of them is the dean's wing, where all the dean's offices and stuff are.
All right. Silently around the side of the building.
Okay.
I will cast Pass Without a Trace down.
Okay. Cast Pass Without Trace. And you guys make your way around the side of the building. Let's see.
Who's getting teleported in?
That's a good question. I just can't teleport myself, I don't think, with the spell. So.
I have advantage on stealth checks as well because of the my cloak that makes me nearly invisible. I completely forgot about it until right now. I have an invisibility cloak.
Maybe teleports Sereia in. I will, before we get up, when we get up there, I will go ahead and cast the spell, not as a ritual, Detect Magic, to see if I'm noticing anything on the window or inside the room within 30 feet that, like an alarm spell or something.
Okay. So I'll say you guys make your way around. There aren't actually any windows on this side of the building. But as you turn the corner and sort of make it to like the end of the building, there is a porch. It's got a 3-foot high stone railing around it. It's paved. Yeah. There are doors, like double doors, that open to the inside of the building.
Oh. Well, that changes things a little bit. Do we just go in through the doors?
Would I know if we're like allowed in the building after hours?
No, you are not.
Okay. Well, same plan. Let's just go through the doors quietly. See if they're locked. Same thing, we'll go ahead and cast Detect Magic to make sure there's not like an alarm on the doors or something.
Okay. Yeah, you cast Detect Magic. It doesn't seem like the doors are magical. They're just locked. I think you do get, 30 feet on Detect Magic?
I think so. I said 30 feet, then I realized
Yeah.
Okay.
30.
You do sense just beyond the door, sort of to the side of it, something that's giving off an aura of enchantment magic.
Can I see what's there that might be giving off that aura?
Yeah, I mean, you can sort of make your way onto the porch. You can hop over the wall. It's only like 3 feet tall.
Before Law goes too far, I'm gonna cast Enhance Ability on them.
Ooh.
Okay.
And give them Cat's Grace, which gives you advantage on dex checks.
Okay.
Nice. Okay. Cool. So yeah, you make your way up onto the porch, kind of looking in, and you see standing next to the door is a spirit statue. Yeah, one of the many, many mascots of Lorehold College.
Hey guys, there is a mascot in here. Right by the door. Do we think it's keeping guard?
There's
Is
a
it
good
going to tell?
possibility.
Like it might tell on us if we break in?
They would have to be able to see us. And Sereia puts her hood up.
Alright.
And she all but disappears. Not quite,
Okay.
but she's hard to see now.
Alright, I don't know if everybody is going to be able to get through this door. Not everybody's going to be as sneaky as you. Do we think this might be better as a solo mission? The
No.
DM just had a look that looks like we might have to fight something, and that being solo would be very bad.
That's not what that look was.
Alright. This is the point of no return. Do I teleport you inside?
I think
I'm trying to decide if we should pick the lock instead, but I don't have lock picking tools. Does
I
Rosie?
can pick the lock.
Like, would that be
I-
less?
Or dealers can be with it.
I would like to prepare to command this spirit statue
Okay.
if we get caught.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, then
I
Law
will-
will try to save the spell slot and pick the lock.
Okay. Have you roll?
Okay.
What is... Do you have thieves' tools, or do you have a?
I do. I have thieves' tools. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
So
proficient
your-
at thieves' tools, tinker's tools, smith's tools.
Do your thieves' tools with dexterity?
Okay, I'll switch to dexterity.
Ooh, with dexterity, you say?
Oh, I get advantage,
You
right?
do get advantage.
Oh, boy. Holy shit. I'll use the inspiration I got from the chat
Okay.
to roll one. So I just roll one more time with that though, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, glad
There
I
it
used
is.
that. It's a 24.
Thanks, chat.
Wow.
It was for the chat. I rolled a 6 and a 10 and total.
So 24 is the
So
DC.
24. Oh, what?
Wow.
What?
24 is the DC.
I say it again. What?
You work at it
Does a
for a minute.
dragon own this place?
Law?
That is some luck.
2 of the deans of the college work in here.
I know. I'm just realizing maybe we shouldn't be here. Law is sweating more as they're trying to undo the lock, and you're like,
It's
I'm thinking that maybe we
fine.
shouldn't be here anymore. Normally,
Yeah.
this would be easier.
The lock pops open.
That was a fucking difficult lock. Okay, let's try to sneak in past this statue.
Everybody roll stealth.
Okay,
Plus 10.
so
Plus 10,
I
and
have a
some of you have
question, Sereia.
advantage.
so I've disadvantage for my armor.
Yes.
And it's just disadvantage, and any amount of advantages cancel out. It's not going to matter anymore because I technically have 2 advantages going on right now for dexterity.
What are the
because
advantages?
my armor. So my armor has dampening field, so I have advantage on stealth checks. If my armor would normally pose disadvantage, the advantage and disadvantage cancel each other out as normal.
So you're making a
Saves
straight roll.
afterwards.
And then you
And
have
then
advantage
gave
from
me
Willoughby.
Advantage from so.
So yes, you have
My
advantage.
question is, okay, I get advantage. Cool.
Pretty sure my splint armor gives me disadvantage here.
I think so.
I think so.
Oh, buddy.
Wow.
That should be the 22 because it rolled with disadvantage.
Yeah.
But damn.
Okay.
Natural 20, 22.
Well done.
Oh, 32. Sorry.
Oh yeah, plus 10.
Plus 10.
Damn.
Thank God I am proficient in stealth.
Okay.
17.
Is that
I
with
rolled
the
a 4.
is that with the plus 10?
Yeah.
Okay. Sereia?
Die is retired.
29, because I got a 19 plus 10.
Hey. Rosie rolled stupid high. Rosie's got a 37.
Damn, Rosie.
You guys you guys think you forgot Rosie for a little bit. Till she shows back up. Okay. Yeah, the 4 of you quietly, skillfully, magically sneak your way into this hall. You see the spirit statue sort of off to one side of the door. Does not seem to react to you entering.
Good deal.
So we are
Still
not
holding
in
that.
the office, we are in the hall. So now we need to also
Yeah.
unlock office door, I'm assuming.
I guess we have to find the office because there were no windows on the outside.
Yeah, so you make your way in. Well, it's when I say hall, I don't mean a hallway. I mean a hall of sorts. You find yourself in a room full of bookshelves and a few round tables, and there are books just crammed into this place everywhere. And you hear on the other side of the room, behind a couple of the bookshelves, also Willoughby, a familiar sound of the rolling wheels of archivists.
Tom Baudette's?
Of Tom Baudette's, indeed. Somewhere in this dark room.
I wish they left the light on for us.
I have some like sufficiently sneaking music. We'll see. What would you
Alright.
guys like to do?
We need to avoid the archivists.
Void archivists find what we're looking for.
All right. Anything on the Badlands? Looking for journals, notes.
Is
All
there
right.
an office?
And look for doors. Yeah, other offices that might be through here.
Okay.
Like it's the dean of the college, right? Like one of them. We're gonna see like a plaque with like their name on the door, right? Like,
Unless this is his freaking office.
this is his
this-
office. I want this job.
This looks like more of a like library of sorts, maybe a records room, something like that.
This is the bathroom.
This
for
is the
dean.
bathroom. This is the reading material. Across the way, as you venture into the room a little bit more, you do see a couple of doors. Directly across from you, there is a set of closed double doors. And then on either side of this room, there are several just simple wooden doors. Most of them are closed, a couple are propped open. But yeah, there's one big set of double doors across the way.
So I guess we probably need to go to the other doors and see. So you said double doors, and there. Did you say there were other doors in there too?
Yeah, there are a bunch of other doors sort of in between the bookshelves. They're all just like simple wooden doors. A couple of them are propped open, most of them are shut. On your right, there's
Okay.
4 of them. On your left, there's 3 of them.
But no plaques or anything.
No.
But so
The rooms don't appear to be labeled.
Mm-mm.
yeah. So I'm
Okay.
guessing those aren't. That's not going to be.
I'm gonna assume double doors
Yeah.
is
At
probably
least
where we
leads
need
out
to.
to another. Yeah. Maybe a hallway
Head.
where the dean office entrance is.
Have we like seen this dean out and about?
Dean Tallis? You guys probably would have seen her at some point, at least during orientation. As she's probably been at like a campus event from time to time.
Do they, I don't know, have a very specific coat, cane, scarf, anything in particular that they are often seen with?
Ooh. That is a good question. Hmm. I don't. I don't think so. I mean, every once in a while, I think you probably, I mean, more often than not, you probably see Dean Tullus with like one of the spirit statues, like one of the mascots with her.
Okay.
What are you thinking, Willoughby?
Well, I was gonna try and locate a specific object that maybe I've seen the dean in possession of up close, but A, I can't think of anything, and B, it would break concentration on your enhanced ability.
I mean, I think that would be worth it if you could think of anything.
Okay, I have a plan.
All right.
If we get caught, we just pretend we were sleepwalking.
Okay. That's a good point. I mean, that's better than anything. Better than
We went on
nothing.
a sleepwalking adventure. I'm sure that's happened before.
We can't be the first
A
students here that
A
have
sleep
stress
spell
sleepwalk.
gone awry.
We had a sleepover. We were talking about going on an adventure, and our dream selves did that. I think we should go for the double doors.
All right, let's do that.
Okay. So the four of you make your way over quietly to the set of double doors. They are not locked. You pop them open. And for those of you that have been in this building before, you see the main hall. It's a sort of long hallway with a carpet running down it. To your right would be essentially the entrance doors to this wing. And then to your left, there is another sort of closed wooden door. And then there's an identical set of double doors to these immediately across the hall from you.
Which way?
I don't know. I made the last decision. Somebody else do it.
Willoughby, your
Left.
turn. All right, left.
Okay.
We go left.
You turn left. You don't see anybody else in this hallway. There's a lot of like sconces on the wall, a lot of like paintings, probably of ex-deans and stuff. You make your way up to this wooden door. It again is open. You slowly open the door, and you make your way into like a reception room. There's sort of a simple desk facing a pair of uncomfortable looking benches in this hexagonal room. And there are lots of doors in this one as well. There are about 5 other doors, one directly across from you, 2 on these sides. It's a hexagon. There's a door on each side, essentially, including the one you came in.
There are so many doors here.
Are any of the doors labeled?
Yeah, you can take a look around. A couple of the doors, so directly across from you, like the 2 doors that would be at an angle, each have like a bronze nameplate on them. The one on the left says Plarg, Dean of Chaos, and the one on the right says Augusta Tullus, Dean of Order.
I really want to be the Dean of Chaos.
Why
It's
be
a
the Dean of
cool
Chaos when
job.
you can be chaos?
Good call, Sereia. And Willoughby, you chose the left, so
Seriously.
When I'm
Clutch
lost, I always
decision.
go left.
I love that. Is the door magically locked? I don't think I have that. I don't think I can check it. I don't have detect magic.
Detect magic would still be up, I think, for me.
Yeah, it hasn't been that
Okay.
long. You guys basically speed ran this building. The door is locked, but it is not magically locked.
Okay. I can try to unlock this door, but I don't feel great that it's going to be easier than the last door.
I help. I'll
Okay.
use Druidcraft to make a little light, like blocking like it from behind us with my body, but like so that they can like, maybe have a little bit more light to work with now that we're at least inside.
Okay.
All right.
A little floating ball of light
Yeah, roll.
by your hands.
And you've got enhanced ability too. So yeah, definitely roll with advantage.
Yeah, I'm seeing if there's anything, now that I know how difficult it was, if there's anything else I can add. I can also cast heat metal on myself, but I don't, or not heat metal, enhance ability.
You
But
already
that
have
doesn't stack.
advantage.
Yeah. Oh, guidance. Can I guidance myself?
Oh, hey, I can do that. Boo. I'm Rosie. I'm here.
I thought you were so sneaky, Rosie. I forgot you were here.
I know, right? I've been around this whole building. You wouldn't believe the amount of friggin' stuff that's in here. Here you go. Slaps you on the back. She'll cast guidance on you.
Okay. All right. With advantage. I'm going to add the D4.
Okay.
That's a 3, so I roll a 23.
Okay. That'll do it.
Oh my god.
Inside locks, not as bad as outside locks.
Not quite. Yeah, you pop the office open, and make your way inside. And I will leave you with this.
No.
The desk in this office is barely visible beneath heaps of books, papers, and knickknacks. Every shelf and one of the room's 3 chairs have similar burdens. Dean Tullis' office is messy, but unoccupied. But you see, among all of her notes and books and things, you see 2 things that catch your eye. On one side of the room, sitting on a pedestal, is a it's around basketball sized orb that looks like it's made of glass and has this murky kind of green smoke floating and kind of swirling around in it, and it's putting off this faint glow. What is putting off a brighter glow, however, is on the other side of the room. One of the bookshelves looks like it has been almost like pushed to the side. It's kind of leaning a little bit to make a blank space on the wall. And on the wall, you see what looks like a large crack that has opened up. And there's kind of this like almost like moonlight coming through it. And as you move over to check it out, I assume, Law, you look through and you hear what sounds like voices, kind of far away voices. And then you hear music. And you look and you see through this crack that would be like just big enough for you to slide through sideways. You see a very familiar marketplace in your hometown in Kaladesh. But that is where
What
we're
the
going
f-
to
and
leave
that's-
it for today.
What?
Huh?
What?
Huh?
What?
What?
What the fuck?
Slotty yada 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 yada.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
So that's where we're going to leave it today.
Yeah, I'm not
you guys accomplished quite a bit today, I will say. Congratulations on finding some shit.
It's gonna turn out the Dean is the one behind all of this, isn't it?
You've done it. Yeah, that's where we're gonna have to leave it for today. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. Thanks to my wonderful players for making this a joy to run and be a part of, as always. Anything? Well, I guess we'll do stars and wishes, and then I'll ask for plugs. Let's do stars and wishes.
I volunteer.
Go. By all means.
I'm feeling like I want to give one to everybody because I don't know. I love you and I missed you.
Same.
This star goes specifically to Rachel for the slotty body. Obviously.
If all I had to do was rap, I should have done that a long time ago.
It's fucking amazing. You act like that's the first time I've ever given you a star. It's definitely not.
No, I meant like for entertainment value.
Oh, true.
Because I'm not the funny one here.
Shut your
That's
fucking face.
your-
Yes, you are.
Not compared to you guys.
The great
I
thing
have
about-
a few every now
Please.
and then.
The great thing about this
Sereia is
cast
fucking
is that we're all the
hilarious.
funny one.
We're all the funny.
Yeah.
We're all the funny friend.
It's just
I'm
it's
not the
just
funny
a cast
friend.
of the funny friends.
The funny friends. Yeah, this is the funny adventures of the Strixhaven friends.
I'm renaming
This
the show.
one's going
Anytime we
Yeah.
do a one shot, that's what I'm gonna call it.
perfect. The next star goes to. I'm breaking the rules. Next star goes to
There
Val
are no rules here.
for fucking sick art that you are posting both on and off of Twitter, but it should all go on Twitter because it's fucking sick.
Thank you.
And
I'll share some of it. I do really want to share Apocalypse Willoughby.
He looks incredible.
yes,
It's incredible.
Apocalypse Willoughby is too good.
And you're a wonderful
Apocalypse
artist.
Willoughby is the best of us.
Thank you.
This star's going to Savvy for the fact that I literally think that you could do an entire, like, at least third of the session telling stories as Professor Scrimmett.
Mm-hmm.
Skrillex.
I keep wanting to say Scriven, and I'm like, that's not it.
Professor
Professor
Skrillex.
Skrillex.
There we go.
Yeah, Professor
Wub
Scrimmett.
wub.
Yeah,
And speaking of Wub
I
Wub,
just made all
this
that up.
one's going to Christina Sid, Greek Sid on the Twitters, who we get next week. That's my wish, is I wish to play with Sid. Boom. I took it full circle. I gassed up all my friends. So
Incredible.
fuck you, haters. I don't
Get you a friend
I don't
like
have
Rob.
Haters. No.
You can't have ours though.
No, you get
Yeah.
your own.
Yeah, get your
Get
own.
your
Rob.
own.
Now
Just
now
to be
sold,
clear.
sold batteries not included. Sold at your local Walgreens. I don't fucking
And if
know.
you look around and your group doesn't have a Rob, maybe you need to be your group's Rob.
Maybe you are the.
Maybe you
Anyway.
are the Rob. Thanks, Rob.
Be the Rob you want to see in the world.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Who else wants to
We
go?
need Rob buttons.
Rob buttons.
Nobody needs a rub button.
I do.
I have a
It would
Rob
make my
button.
day better at work. Just message Rob. I'll go. I don't know what I'm to say. We're just gonna wing it. My star. I'm gonna break the rules too, and I'm gonna do them all. Because that's really what we're doing tonight.
Listen, we just did a heist. All right, we broke the rules in game. We're breaking the rules out of game.
Hell yeah. You guys do whatever you want. I'm not going to stop you.
My star for Rob is because Willoughby broke the rules, and I'm very proud of that. I know it was hard for him, but he saw the reasoning, and it was the one that suggested it in the end. Which, like, hey,
In
Gross.
times of war,
We must do things we're not comfortable with. And this is the beginning of Apocalypse Willoughby.
of
where
war
Willoughby-
crime Willoughby.
Uh-oh.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Season
Oh,
2,
no.
Apocalypse World. Here we go.
No.
Oh no. The mage hunters take over. We all have trauma already. This is gonna be terrible. I'm gonna have to go with the same one for Savannah because honestly, that character that you just pulled out of the stories are so funny. I like need them written down. Like I need like a little like mini book.
It's a good thing we
Just, like,
record
bedtime
these and stuff
stories.
because like
I
it
know.
immediately goes out of my head. Like
I need like bedtime stories by Professor Scrivening.
Skrillex.
Skrillex.
It's also so
Deckard
funny.
Cain who? Just
And
stay a
that's
while.
who he
So
sounded
he's-
like.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't figure it
Stay a
out.
while.
Mhm.
But thanks for always dealing with our shenanigans and when we like kind of derail things and then decide to do a heist.
Your shenanigans are the reason
I'm
I
just-
started running this game in the first place.
I love it.
It's all cyclical.
That so much. And then I just love Law as a character. They're just great. Like just what about it? What the down for anything friend? We're just like, oh, we have to hide a body. Like Sereia could just like show up to Law's room and be like, we have to do this ridiculous thing. And Law would be like, okay. Just, yeah, sure. No questions. And I just love that about them. It's just so fun. And I can't wait to see if we actually end up, with an army of sentient frogs or a freezer full of bodies. Like, you just never know where this is going to go. And I'm so excited to have Sit back. And then my wish is Adventures in Kaladesh, which I think we're going to get. We're starting hometowns. This is now The Bachelor / The Bachelorette. And that's it. That's my story. Thanks for listening. And good night.
Al?
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess I'll do it too. My star for Rob is gonna be for Willoughby's supportive comments that he was making to Law, and just like being the absolute best friend ever, and just like so support. I feel like Law could commit a murder, and Willoughby would be disappointed, but would still be supportive in a weird way.
I'm sure
did
you
your
needed to.
best. Yeah. I'm sure you had
Please
reasons,
don't
buddy.
test that theory. It'll break me.
And that's where we get War Crime Willoughby. And then I'm just gonna piggyback off these because so many of the good ones have been taken. Savannah, 1000% Deckard Cain, Professor Skrillex.
I was doing it in my
would
head. I
listen
was like,
to-
God, he sounds like somebody, and I can't figure out who it is.
I would listen to Professor Deckard Skrillex forever.
Books on Tape by Professor
Books on
Skrillex.
Tape. And then obviously for Sereia, it's got to be the slotty body, slotty body, slotty body, slotty body, slotty body, slotty body, slotty.
You have to do a wish.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned for next week, where apparently
My-
I'm rapping Megan Thee
So
Stallion.
far, both of the
My
wishes
wish
have
is
just
to-
been Sid.
My wish is to get the full rendition of Slotty Body next week, please. Thank you. Good night.
Single dropping when.
Yeah.
If I have to start rewriting raps for D&D, we're gonna have a real problem.
Well, yeah, because you're not a bard, so like
Yeah.
you're just gonna have
Yeah,
to
only
do
bards
them.
can do
Multi-
that.
Yeah, in before multi-classing.
Yeah.
One of you's already done it, so I mean, multi-classing is on
Ugh.
the table. I'm gonna give a star to each of you. My star for Rob is to the ultimate commitment to the Willoughby bit. He consistently every week feels like a very realized, fleshed out character. And I love that about him because I think most of that has actually come through play and not a bunch of like front-loaded work. And it's consistently very impressive and wonderful. My star for Rachel is going to go to Sereia's consistent supply of buck-wild ideas for things, which include going to talk to a professor and asking him if he wants to see the dead body you keep in your freezer on the other campus. She always surprises me a little bit, and I love that about her. And my star for Val is going to go to Law's seemingly infinite ingenuity and also infiltration mode, which is just cool. Those are my stars for you guys.
I'm gonna animate separate magical girl transformations for all of Law's armor modes.
You better. Is that the
I'm gonna
detective?
figure it out for next week. Yeah.
She's busy.
Trying to- All right,
There she goes. All right. Well, that is going to do it for us today. Anything anybody wants to plug before we go away for the week? Okay. Well, you know where to find all of these folks. That's right. It's at the Twitter links that we've just posted in the chat, as well as below their faces. You can also find some of them on Twitch, but we all tweet and retweet when we go live and all that good stuff. Our next show here is going to be tomorrow. Join our wonderful, wonderful Tuesday crew for, I believe, Escape Velocity. Stars Without Number. It's just a bunch of goobers in space, and also some of them are hot, which is pretty much the tagline of any show we do on this channel. It's a bunch of goobers, blank, and also some of them are hot. That's just kind of how we do things here. So go check that out, and then the rest of our schedule is here on our Twitch page. It's also on our Twitter. It's also on our Discord, and then head over to our YouTube if you've missed episodes of this and want to catch up. They're all over there on youtube.com/game nights. I'll give one more shout out to our wonderful artist, since we haven't talked about them in a couple weeks. We did these character portraits and also did this wonderful group portrait that I've just left on the screen over here because I think it's so wonderful. I just love it. It just kind of sits there like, a little reminder, a little family portrait. Witch Planet on Twitter. Shane is wonderful and does a lot of great art, and you can go commission him. These commissions are open. So yeah, do it. He's incredible. He did all these portraits within like 24 hours, which is fucking magical. Like, just a wild amount of talent. Anyway, go buy his art. He's great. Follow all these people. We will see you in 1 week's time for the next episode of the Queer Chronicles of the Strixhaven Quartet with the whole gang. But until then, good game and good night, Internet.